Some players are mechanical warlords and never miss a shot, while others are the mega minds behind the operation. And today, we are talking exactly about those mega minds that define the main support role. So, let's put on our thinking caps and get right into the video. If you have been enjoying the series so far, great, I'm happy to hear that. That being said, if you did miss any of the videos in this playlist, I have it linked in the description. However, without further ado, let's bring in our guest for today's video, Neptune.
My name is Neptune/Charlie, and I have played main support for Regen and Last Hope as a main support sub. And most recently, I've started for Cora in Trials by going 0-5. After that season in Trials, I decided to join ATK mode, which is my current team. Main support consists of Lucio, Brig, Mercy, and Baptiste. Generally with Lucio, I've been the most dominant main support in Overwatch. Even though a majority of these healers don't have a high heal output, they're still called main support because they were the main support during no real queue, where every comp would have at least one healer and at least one tank, which would be like Mercy during quad DPS meta, with Ball, Mercy being the only two in there each role. But yes, Bap, Ana, and Moira are main healers, but only one really has ever played as a main support, which is Baptiste. Main support in a team environment always has a comm role, normally being ult tracking. In other teams, their main support is doing some more communication, like tempo of the fight, where it takes place, how you want to take the fight, if it's slow, fast. Generally, in comp, you don't have to really worry about comms. You just have to be like a mechanically good player and know how to play your life and how to help your teammates. Going further into ult tracking, it should be consistent, and you might have to tell your team to clear comms after a fight is won or lost to get your ult track in. Usually on rollouts, I pay attention to how high my tanks and DPS's ult charges get, because if they aren't getting those kills on their backline, they're for sure going to have something like a Baptiste window, Mercy Valk, Zen Trank even, to be used against yourself, so watch out for that. Watching VODs of yourself while hiding the enemy's ults and pausing every fight to ult track is a great way to practice your ult tracking. You get to notice your habits in your ult tracking, if it's inconsistent, what you generally miss. Otherwise, ult tracking is just what you know. Like, if a Zarya is full charge and your tanks are barely living, you're probably feeding them ult charge. Lucio is a low skill floor hero where you can get a lot of value out of basics of his kit, like booping targets away or towards your team, great amp engages and heals. Despite having speed, you really want to spend majority of your amps on heals to build ult charge, since Lucio has one of the longest ult charges in the game. What really separates players is the wall riding mechanics to kill a target, which is what you really need to focus on in ranked play. One of the wall riding tips I can give is to jump on and back onto walls to gain speed. Another part of wall riding is be hopping on the flat floor to maintain the speed you gain like this. Generally, the only recommendation I can say for this hero is just to practice your wall riding and being a difficult target for the player to hit by AD strafing and flicking your aura between speed and heal. For his ultimate, make sure you're using to counter ults like EMP, Shatter, Grab, etc. You can really also aggressively beat into players to sway the fight in your favor. Usually I do this if a summer is forced out and it's just keeping my beat hostage. So I just say fuck it and beat aggro with my team to force them to EMP. But by the time they EMP, my team has already found the value that we needed to win the fight. Alright, Brig God Neptune coming out with this godly coaching. This hero isn't hard. You really just gotta find the tempo to go aggressive and be a monster, or where you need to play back, be a pack bot, and like stop engages. A great way to play Brig is to be self-reliant, and the way you do that is by proccing Spire with your whip shot or your M1, which gives you self-heal, and then hard holding shield or cutting back to natural cover to regen health. Shield management on Brig is very important because it's the only way you can really help yourself out with being able to bash out block skills and block deadly shots. When it comes to bashing out EMPs, make sure you scout or believe the Sombra to be set up and be ready to bash their EMPs, shown as in this clip.
I'm gonna try and scout her. Yeah,
Can you guys go forward?
Can we stack up a little bit? They're coming close. Oh, nice, you back.
The other part of Brig's kit is her whip shot. Her whip shot is the only way to proc and Spire safely from afar and to deal damage. With whip shot, you're really looking down to shut down dives, get enemies off of you or your allies, and to finish off low health targets. With your ultimate, make sure you use it to win fights by giving your teammates armor, allowing you to go really aggro and to hold powerful positions like high ground. My last tip with Brig is to master bash spots. There's some crazy spots to get high ground, which can help you out, like in this clip. There's a whole car key video, and I recommend you check it out, that shows all these bash spots, but here's a few. Up next is Mercy, and I'm going to be real with you, I'm not quite sure what's the best way to play Mercy, in ranked at least, because I've heard a lot of arguments about being a heal bot or a damage boost bot, but for me, I think I just damage boost when you can, and you just gotta heal when you gotta. For me in my ranked games, I go between my allies a lot to try and maximize my healing and damage boost to give my ult center. Unless my DPS are going crazy with the pocket, like a pocket Ashe, Echo, that's just going crazy. For me, in scrims, I always try to stick to my Echo while healing low health targets that go near me. I think this all changes depending on how you play the meta and environment, so just watch out what works for you. Lastly, mastering the Mercy tech would be awesome, which would allow you to do escapes like this. For me, super jumping is pretty easy because I have crouch on my mouse button, but to do it, you use crouch, then like a millisecond later, you left shift. And when you get to the end of your GA, you should dip just a tiny bit, and when you see that, you jump, sending you fly high up in the air. Lastly, make sure you use your ultimate to sway your fight in your favor or to save your life. Think of it as a rally where you want to sway the fight in your favor and then use it reactively in a grab or like to try to save your teammates that are already pretty much gonna die. I believe the only ult that you can use reactively is beat, but even then, like I mentioned previously, there's still an option to always go aggro. For the last main support, we have Baptiste. Bap is the only main support that requires a lot of raw aim to elevate your play. Even then, you can get far by positioning alone and getting value out of your kit. Making sure you min-max your damage and healing is the key to being effective. Make sure you're constantly shooting when you don't have to heal, because you are like a third DPS. To do this, make sure you shoot bullets quickly before you're able to shoot another M2 to maximize your damage and heal output like this clip. Also, make sure when your teammates are positioning very aggressive, make sure you go into a more passive style so you can use all of your kit to enable them rather than to put yourself in a vulnerable spot that requires you to left shift for yourself or immortality yourself. As for Bap's left shift, you mostly want to use it to peel for yourself or to burst heal your teammates if they're taking a lot of damage. Make sure you're not spamming it on cooldown if you take a little bit of chip damage, because your flex support can just heal that up. Now onto his immortality field. Make sure you're doing the best to save it for your team rather than use it on yourself selfishly. When using your immortality, make sure you're calming to your team when you're going to use it so they can get max value with it. Immorts that do more than one job, like save a life and allow them to get aggressive for a little bit, is the best immortalities you can have. Also, it's the same as double shield meta. You basically want the immortality to be on a corner so the enemy team has to push past your tanks, basically just to break it, while taking all the damage from your team. Otherwise, immortality, just try to save it to counter ultimates and to save your life if you get too greedy or out of position, because your life matters. Lastly, with window, we want to make sure you're using it off cooldown, like in past metas like Risk meta, where you would always be able to combo with a pull to get max value, but now you just have to put it down and try to find more solo value to maximize your damage and heals. In older metas, you can use pull window and have your whole team spam through it and find value and push on that. That allows it to become more of a selfish window on your part. So making sure you can find those opportunities still in this current meta is the key to really elevating your play. Also in the mirror Baps, you got to make sure you have better immort placement on corners and that your team is able to break their immort. Also in the mirror BAP, you want to make sure your team has the better immort on a corner and that the enemy team has to push up to your corner and you get to spam them out. Because whatever team's immorts breaks on the corner is the loser. It's whoever tanks aren't holding the space correctly, so you would want to make sure you calm to your tanks that they feel confident to stand on the corner and receive immortality.
Thank you, Neptune, so much for taking part in this video with me. If you guys are interested in Neptune's socials, I've listed them down below. That being said, join our Discord. There are tons of like-minded people to discuss with, and I can get you in contact with players that would be more than willing to coach you. If you did enjoy the video as well, please do smash that like button for the algorithm and consider subscribing. But until next time, guys, I've got to peace out and paz out. I'll see you in the next one.